Good afternoon. A little short Torah thought. So this week's portion is Parshat Pikudei. Within it, Moses feels compelled to account for every coin he received. What did people think? Moses was going to pack away the cash and buy some real estate in Saudi Arabia or purchase a private jet? Now, even if it's important to know and to teach transparency, the Torah could have simply gave an accounting of the gold, silver, and copper that people contributed to the sanctuary project. But not only that, the name itself is enigmatic because Pikudei means account, representing an individual, detailed account of each donation and item separately. And it begins indeed with a detailed accounting of Moses giving it to all the people and telling them about what was given. But yet a major part of the parsha devoted to the Mishkan's assembly from fragmented pieces into a single unit. This is the opposite of Pikudei, which always relates to the distinct and disparate items. You don't count a single home, you count individual bricks, beams, or doorknobs. And it seems like a far more appropriate name would be Mishkan, which is the third word of the portion right after the word Pikudei. So why is the Torah portion called Pikudei and not Mishkan? And the answer is of profound importance that the Rebbe presents in many of his talks. You see, Genesis opens up with God building a world for humanity. Exodus finishes with humanity and the Jewish people building a home for God. The theme of the entire book of Exodus is dedicated to nation building. In Genesis, we are referred to as Bnei Yisrael, the children of Israel. We have family, and fragmented one at such. There's so much infighting, there's so much quarrels. But it's only in Exodus when we are first called an Am, a nation. And it's the pervading thread of the entire book of Exodus. While the narratives of Genesis are focused on individuals, Adam, Eve, Cain, Noah, Abraham, Sarah, Isaac, Jacob, Rebecca, Rachel, Leah, the book of Exodus is about peoplehood, a nation. Individuals are mentioned there, but of course it's all part of the main discussion representative of a nation or assisting the formation of a nation. Shemos is about the collective, not the individual. Here comes a profound challenge. Does nation building, by definition, come at the expense of the individual? Sure, you can't have a nation without individuals joining together, but perhaps the value of the individual is only insofar as he or she becomes a part of the whole. The value of my eye is only due to the fact that it contributes to the we. Comes along the portion that speaks about the actual assembly of the tabernacle, that speaks about the actual building by the Jewish people as a nation of a home for Almighty God, and is called Pikudei. Because you see, what it wants us to remember and to always focus on is that even when you're building community, even when you're focused on the kahal, on the congregation, never forget Pikudei, the individual, because they and he and she are so critical and could never lose their individuality in the building of a nation. That's the story of the Jewish people. You know, I was reading a book lately that my first cousin just wrote, which is called On Purpose. And in On Purpose, he focuses a lot on the Rebbe's vision, on living a life full of purpose. And it's a book I encourage because it speaks about how purpose gives us life. Just like the power button when you turn on a computer impacts so many things, so too is when we have a life of purpose. And in there he quotes something that I always mention from the Rebbe, that a birthday is the day that God said the world can't exist without you. And that ultimately, we don't matter because we're alive, but we're alive because we matter. It's something so important for each and every one of us to remember, to cherish, as we finish the book of Exodus, as we finish the book of nation building, as we finish the book celebrating Am Yisrael and the building of the tabernacle. We finish off with Pikudei, never forgetting that single individual. And I think, as I mentioned in Shabbos and Shul, the impact of October 7th in our community, the Jewish community worldwide, is that we realized at that moment that we could never again rely on our organizations, quotation marks, our CJPs and federations and ADLs and shuls and Chabads, but that every single one of us, every individual, every person, every pikude, every detailed individual has to rise up, speak up for his people, speak up for his nation, make a difference in her world, in this world, by doing something positive and by recognizing that we're alive because we matter, not that we matter because we're alive. God bless you and have